Hello everybody, Joshino here, and today I'm going to be playing Planetside 2 with the Steam controller. A couple of things you should know. I've set it, well, I've got a load of settings up. Basically my wing, one is a jump which is behind the controller. This side is for my shield, I think that's probably easiest. Zoom is on one side of these, I'm trying to get zoom, shoot. This side is grenade, oh! Well, slightly dangerous under there, but oh well. I don't remember what the right trigger is. It's something. That's for sure. It's something. Basically, the normal aiming, the finite aiming, is done by just moving on this touchpad. It's in the mouse style. However, if I hold down the mouse pad, I can use the gyroscope if I ever need to do any fast movements. And this, you might see me going, ooh, whoa, occasionally in the video. And if you want to see my full review of the Steam controller, then go ahead and click the link wherever it'll be, and then there'll also be like a card for any mobile users. So let's get on and try and use it in the game, and I won't spoil how it controls before we play. Oh, I remember what the left trigger is. It's the run. There we go. So that's my setup for now. I think I'll probably save it on a customization. Basically, you can make your profiles on the Steam controller, and there'll be one called Joshino's controller up there, and if you want to use it, then go ahead. That's the controller I'm using at the moment. So the reason why I'm using a gyroscope and like a little finer aim is that the finer aim I can get sort of more precision aim, and then whenever somebody's above me, I mean, I'm really not used to this though. I just saw another tutorial showing this off. If I ever need to suddenly snap to a target, I can just use the gyroscope. But how feasible that'll be, I'm not too sure, but here we go. See, there's things that I probably want to have bound, like at the moment see, maybe even the way that I'm stood isn't helping my gyroscope. Here we go, there's a guy. Oh no, I died, and it wasn't good. The Battle Gueze. Okay everybody, the audio decided just to cut out as I started recording my first video, and I recorded for like a few hours as well, which adds to the frustration of actually using the controller. I'm just going to go through the thoughts on the controller and with some of the gameplay clips, and it might be a bit weird without the sound, because quite frankly, if you look in the top right corner, sometimes I'm raging out, just because personally I don't get angry normally in game if something isn't your fault. If it's down to me being outskilled, I'll be like, well done for outskilling me. But when it's not down to you, it's down to the hardware, and using a controller that's much harder to use than a mouse and keyboard, then the anger comes out and it unleashes the beast. So too long didn't watch. The Steam controller really can't compete with the mouse and keyboard. At the end of the day, people are going to have snap aim much faster than you are. They're going to be able to keep their target on you for longer, and it's hard to say how skilled somebody is, but I was getting killed by a lot of people that were low battle rank, and in situations where I wouldn't normally be killed if I was using a mouse and keyboard, because I've been able to react more accurately. However, with the right pad, using it both when you click it down as a gyroscope and also being able to use it as a mouse of finite aiming means that you are much more competitive than you are with a normal analog stick. And I think it's important to note that the game's playable with the controller. It's frustrating to me because I suppose I'm at that point in playing the game that I like to win, I suppose, but you can aim with it, and with some I think the problem is I didn't have much practice with it. I have only spent probably a few hours with it, and I can tell that I'm not a controller player, and also that the control scheme is quite difficult to learn in the first place because there's a lot of bindings on there. For example, the gyroscope, it goes, when you nod it downwards, it goes upwards. When you nod it back, it goes downwards, which is really confusing when you're aiming using a normal sort of mouse tracking pad. To go up with your thumb, your cursor goes up, and cursor goes down when your thumb goes down, and it's very disorientating using both those controls together at the moment. But I think it's something that you could eventually get used to. Also, I struggled. Like, I can remember when I was younger and I first started playing PC games, I was struggling to use WASD and all the bindings in-game on the keyboard, but in the same way, I was struggling to use all of the bindings, especially with sprint on the left-hand trigger, and I kept hitting the grenade rather than trying to aim, and things like that. So I wasn't playing at my best, and I think that somebody that's more used to a controller might be able to do better than what I did, and get it to a point where they can play, but in all honesty, they'd never be competitive with the keyboards and mice to a point that I'd be comfortable with. But you could play it. And in the same regard, if you want to check out my Xbox 360 playthrough of the game, that was much harder to use than this was, in the terms of actually aiming and things like that. And in the same way, at the end of this clip, I switched to Infiltrator, which in the Xbox 360 controller I was able to get kills with as well, because basically having the Infiltrator cloak gives you the advantage of being able to sneak up on people, and that's when you can get your kills because you've got the upper hand, whereas the disadvantage is of the aiming and keeping your mouse on the target, which is the hardest thing to do, I think. I do apologise to anyone that was using my old Steam controller custom configuration on bindings, because it was on there called Joshino's configuration, but it wasn't finished. It only had like shoot and move and jump, and I didn't realise I'd saved it to the public, and about 20 people were using it when I last checked, and it's gone down to 7 today, but a few days ago it was quite high, so I am sorry for anyone using that, because it would have been unfinished and you would have got probably quite frustrated with it. But I've actually put up a new one called Joshino's config or something like that. You'll just see which one's the newest, and I've tried to take down the other one, and that one's actually got all the configurations that I've been using today, and I can do most things. I can go onto the map, and from the map you can go into like social and all the other tabs that you need to. The only thing you can't do at the moment is talk. I can't remember what the spotting key was. It's on there, but I've completely forgot what I set spotting to. But yeah, if you want to use it, then it's already up there. If you want to see my full review of the Steam controller itself, then that'll be in the link somewhere and at the end. So the Steam controller's a very nice controller, but multiplayer online FPSs still, it's almost impossible to compete with the mouse and keyboard, with a mouse with such a precise laser pointer, and just the way, well, it's just such an accurate tool to use. I know this may disappoint some people, and maybe some people were hoping that this would be a bit better than, well, to be able to compete with the mouse and keyboard, but that's, to be honest, I always thought that was probably going to be a bit unrealistic. But as I said, you can play the game, and I think it's probably going to be easier to tank in it. Tanking seems fine. I don't think there's much of an issue with tanking. Flying may be able to do flying, but as you saw in my video, it was just sort of crashing a lot. The gyroscope was the hard bit to control, which is the most responsive, but also sometimes like to have a mind of its own. That may need some tweaking. Anyway, what does everyone else think? Has anyone else been playing with the Steam controller, and what are their thoughts on it? If you enjoyed the video, please be sure to like, comment, and anything down there below. Subscribe to become one of the crew, and thank you all very much for watching. I'll see you next time. Joshino.